the geek aficionado. That sounds like really like geek aficionado. Aficionado. I don't know how to say it, but I'm sure he's going to tell me how to say it. So
Just depends on where in the world you are.
see, I can hear him right now, but you can't. But hopefully, you guys head over there on YouTube. Matty Forge is here, so watch this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to flip the camera, and show you. Like,
I
here's
think
Matty
we're live
Forge.
right now.
Look, here's Matty Forge.
I think we're live
right
on
now.
YouTube.
We're live on YouTube. There's the Geek Aficionado. There's me, and there's Matty Forge. So head over here because look, we're on 2 screens. We're on like 3 screens right now. So hey, what's up, guys? I'm taking over your show, bud. We'll see you soon. All right. So head over here. Later, Defects.
Welcome to What Do You Hunt? As you saw from that brief intro, we have some special guests with us tonight. We have the Forge brothers, and we're hoping to get the Butcher on a little bit later, but we got Matt Forge and Guy Forge, and nobody wants to see us that close, so we're going to scoot on back. No, I was digging that, man. Thank you. That was very cool.
Listen, we're trying to get all the defects out here for the show, so...
Listen,
absolutely.
You got a silky smooth intro like that. You're wearing a Fast and the Furious mechanics t-shirt. I'm good. I know where I'm supposed to be right now. I'm supposed to be right here.
Very nice. And it looks like we got one of them in here already.
Look at this guy.
Cerrone.
You got to watch out for that guy. You got to watch out for that guy.
You got to watch out for him?
Yeah. I
was talking backstage with Guy. I had to switch up the backdrop tonight, because if I'm going to be hanging with you guys, I gotta throw some fire on the back wall.
Popcorn's done.
Press is done. Turn that off.
I see some beauties back there.
Yeah,
I told you. There's one that I told you Maddie would like. You want to hold on, Matt? Yep. You wanted to see which one I picked out?
What'd you pick out?
Which one do you think I picked out?
I mean, you're asking me which one I think you thought I was going to pick?
Yep.
Oh, okay. You probably said ASM 50 or Spotlight 5.
Bang, bang.
So I'm going ASM 50
because
I'm a sucker for a redhead.
And then this guy's got a little press today.
Little heat on that.
We'll see what comes up from that.
Yep.
No idea where it's going to happen. Supreme Love is here.
What's up, Supreme Love?
Could be like 20 years from now. Could be 5 years from now. Could show up in a show. Who knows?
Hey, you never know.
Never know. Until I see casting, it's always just rumor.
We just got to write, but they do have a writer. That's what they're saying.
A Richard writer or
Very good.
Sorry, you walked into that.
I did. Walked right into that one.
You walked into that one.
So I want to welcome you guys to What Do You Hunt? And I don't know if you've had an opportunity to check out our any of the previous shows.
I seen you had the Warriors on a couple weeks back. I seen that. So that was cool. Yeah.
Did. And this is what everybody should be doing right now is watching us and bidding on books.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Best of both worlds.
Multitasking.
So I do want to take a second. I do want to throw a big shout out and a thank you to Newbie Comics and Superpower Review for being on our last show and being great guests and giving us a lot of great information about their process and what they do and what they like to hunt. So thank you both, gentlemen. Thank you both for coming on here and hanging out. And we've got I don't have the full slate lined up just yet of who's coming on after you guys, but we are gonna try to get some more of these shows in April, and I'll try to get some commercials done to showcase who we've got coming up. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know Guy was saying that he had a chance to catch the Warriors show, at least a little bit of it, so he kind of gets an idea of what we're talking about tonight, and that is hunting. So we'll dive right in. We're gonna let some people get into here. We'll start off with something relatively bland, but want to talk about what are your collecting goals? Do you hunt runs? Do you hunt just covers, keys, a blend? what specifically are you guys looking at?
I guess I'll go first. I'm the younger
Sure.
Forge,
The younger Forge.
Ladies first.
Oh, okay. I see how you
Ooh.
are. Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I think that's like it's like a revolving door. It really depends on, when, where, why, how, and all that good stuff. I don't think I have like a well, I shouldn't say that. So I definitely hunt keys. I think it's just like an automatic thing for me. If I see a key, I just pull it and it comes home with me, But I do have very specific as far as when it comes to runs. I definitely am digging, and I've gotten a little bit away from. There wasn't as much heavy buying at the beginning of 2022 so far. The second half of 2022, I'll do a little bit, get back on my runs. But before I kind of slow down a little bit, I was doing a lot of Silver Age. I was trying to complete the Silver Age Submariner run, which I think I'm like 1 or 2 issues away from doing that.
Nice.
And I'd like to continue into the early bronze with that. I've been picking that up for a little while. Obviously, now it's getting a little harder to do. So I was picking those up before anybody else was really, I shouldn't say anybody else, before the masses were really looking into that. I always pick up Strange Tales when I see it. So I'm trying to complete that run. That's my runs. I don't. I was gonna say Master of Kung Fu. I like that run. So I pick that up when I see it. But yeah, I'm not a modern run collector. And as far as covers, I don't have specific covers that I'm after. When I see something that I like, I grab it. So that's my goal. When I go out, it's kind of like, depends on what kind of mood I'm in, but always keys. I'm always like, if I see a key, I'm just going to grab it, as long as it's for a good price. And then, like I said, those Silver Age runs is what I'll be, when I start back up again in a few months, heavy hunting, that's what I'll be grabbing again.
How are you doing on that Silver Surfer run?
I think I'm like 2 away. I got to go back. I have duplicates now because then I just started picking them up. I couldn't remember what I had, so now I have like duplicates and triplicates. So I think it's 1 to 20 or 1 to 21 is the Silver Age run, and I think I am missing, like I said,
I don't think there's that many.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think there's only 18
definitely
in that roll.
18, you think? I know it's like right. I want to say it's, what did I say, 2021? I know 19 is Silver Age, so maybe 19 is the last issue.
Might be. Hang on, I'm pulling up. Yeah. 18. 18? Okay. Yeah, 18 in that run.
So yeah, I'm, like I said, I think I'm 1 or 2 away. So
right on.
Like I said, grab 20 through 30 and then 30 through 40, and
very cool.
It's a nice. There's some. Let me tell you, those are some of the best covers in the Silver Age as far as just like a complete series.
Absolutely.
Like every single cover is fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, those John Buscema's and
Buscema,
it's
Yep.
How about you, Guy?
I don't know if you really want me to get into this. No,
but put on the show.
Yeah, I'm here. I might as well talk, right? So
yeah.
You know what's fun? I'm gonna be honest. You know what's fun? This is where Guy Forge gets his kicks off. Not pause, but like I love watching these guys do what they do. Like honestly, I don't hunt the way they do. I hunt in different ways. I have people hunt for me too, which is wonderful because I know Maddie will take a book out of there and be like, Guy, like he'll just hold it up in the air and like put it down, like, and then go back to doing what he was doing. So like it's in their heads too, which is wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't want to say I don't have the experience that they do because they're just doing it more. Mm-hmm. I'm not really out there hunting like that. I'm a big artist, like buyer. Like I love the artwork. I love the artwork. I went to school for art, so like it's just in my blood. I'm a cover whore, if you want to call it that.
No, I feel you. I mean, I'm right there with you because as much as I love the Silver Age and the Bronze and stuff like that, and all the things that I grew up on, I'm an art fan, right? Like I love great art, right? And I could rattle off a handful of just great cover artists that I enjoy their work on. So I feel you.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a big. I don't know what got me into this. I don't know. Someone said something maybe, and then I just went with it because I picked up one and I started picking up throne covers, and this has been like a crazy journey the last like few months. Like I have a lot of Instagram friends that are like messaging me and DMing me like pictures of covers too. They're like, did you get this one yet? Oh, this one came up on this website. Did you grab this? I have Uncle Frank is a big helper of mine, and he's the man. I love him to death. He's a great dude in the community, and he finds stuff too, and then like he'll pick it up for me and be like, I got this here, just send me this, I'll mail it to you. And I'm like like it's good to have the people working for you, which is great, and working with you, like like it's amazing this community like gets behind each other,
That is so true.
but get behind each other and like help everybody out, like but yeah, it's more for me about the artwork at this point in my collecting. So
nice. Now you broke up just a little bit when you were saying what cover artist you're enjoying. So which one was it?
I didn't say anybody specific. I'm a big I like Delato. I like Alex Ross. I like I don't know.
Momoko
other people. Yeah. Yeah. Not my favorite. But like like it's I don't discriminate against anyone, man. I
so
love,
you go by the cover.
I do. If I feel something, I'm getting it. I don't care who drew it. But how
did you forget Scotty Young? You're like his biggest fan. You have Scotty like Young. 200 Scotty Young covers. I mean,
nice. I do. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Scotty
it's funny.
Young, man.
I was thinking about this today because I was pressing a Scotty Young book, and I was like, you know who doesn't get any love? Like we got this whole big Scotty Young explosion of all these like little kid style comics that he does. You know who gets no love? Arthur Adams, who invented the X Babies and did all that stuff, like back in the 80s and 90s. And it's like, oh, Scotty Young's hot. Like nobody remembers the X Babies, right? There's no love.
Yeah,
none whatsoever.
It's what funny. Have you done for me lately, man? That's
exactly. There you go.
He's old, man.
Yeah. Listen,
he's got a 5-year plan.
Yeah, don't die. Yeah. Wait, did you notice what Guy did here? I think he's probably the smartest one in this, in the group of the three of us. He's got other people hunting for him. He's like, oh yeah, I don't need to do that. I'll just let somebody else do it for me. Like you said, Matt pulls a book. Uncle Frank mails one to me. It's a plot that he has going on. He's just got everyone else doing his work while he's just sitting back, kind of watching.
Definitely not sitting back.
He's
here's
like
the difference.
Varys. He's like Varys from Game of Thrones. He's got his little spiders out there.
Yep.
Everybody works different hours, okay, boys? So you know what? When Fair guys enough. Working on the weekends while everybody else is hunting. So
yeah, that's hard work too.
I know.
We're gonna throw some love to this awesome chat we've got going on here. So is the news on Nova confirmed now? I would say no. It's not confirmed. There are reports from Deadline who apparently gave out the wrong first appearance. In case you're wondering, it's that one. That's the first appearance of Nova. So we got Ben Compton in the house. Magic Lasso is here. He said hello earlier. We're going to leave that alone. John's Comics with Kids here. Thank you, sir. If you haven't seen it, you probably shouldn't. But last week we did a St. Patty's Day celebration on my channel called Whiskey Madness, and it was definitely some madness. And what was, I would say, was probably the most fun I had was the day after reading the chat. Everybody just absolutely just slammed the night before.
That's funny because
we have some Butcha of those shows.
I was about to say the Butcher has a St. Patrick's Day celebration every time we go live, so it's we get to relive the moment Irish. Over and over and over. Kind of like when we went to King Con, that was another St. Patrick's Day celebration for Jay.
And I want to hear about King Con here coming up as well.
I'm still convinced he went to take a nap somewhere because I lost him for
he went downstairs and took a nap.
2 hours. Yeah,
he had a sober up.
What up, Canada?
Hello, Canada. Oh wait, that's Roger's line, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome, Bill. Good to see you again.
I think Roger says goodnight, Canada. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. I think he said
Yeah, well,
both,
Dave,
so.
Dave, the guy's lost a step. All right, we'll give him that. He's 60, 70 years old. Glenn
Everyone's
Smith,
allowed
welcome.
to slow down at some point, right? I mean,
Right. This is funny. Guy says, "Where's my comics?"
pretty much. That's what he says.
Very cool.
I appreciate these guys. So
Yeah, you better.
listen,
Don't be getting
I'll
your
give,
cut
I'll, give,
anymore.
I'll, give, I'll give you a perfect example. I know we're going to talk about King Khan, but when we were there, this is the greatest thing. So we're there, and I don't know if you know Emerald Knight, Chris.
Mm.
He was there, and he's looking through books and everything like that, and he's talking to Street Side, and he's like, "Oh my God!" He goes, "Guy would love this book," and he goes, "Can I go show him?" And he, I know it's someone that brought me a book. So shout out to Amazing Murph. He's just popped in the chat. So Murph is a big supporter, and we love
What up,
him.
Murph?
Right on.
So he walked it over to me and goes, "God," he goes, "check this out." He goes, "Street Side has this." I go, "Oh, that's awesome." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I know, throne cover." He's like, "I'll bring it back." He goes, I go, "Yeah, tell him to hold it for me. I'm just talking with someone. I'll be right there." And I happened to be talking to DJ Lynx, and we were just chatting it up because that was my first time meeting him, and we were just chilling for a little bit. About 10 minutes later, I'm still there. I'm still talking, obviously, because that's what I do. Street Side just walks over, and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "I heard you like this." He goes, "Here, take it." And I go, "Wait, what?" He goes, "No, good. Here, take it. I'll see you later." I'm like, but that's our community, man.
But he also knows you're gonna talk him up,
Of course I
every
am.
chance you get, right? Because it's Street
Well,
Side.
we know he's the man. So
Absolutely. I mean, one of these days I wanna visit New York and go to Brooklyn and go see Street Side.
he's in the Bronx. He's in the Bronx.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or in the Bronx.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bronx.
listen. It's a lot of fun. I'll tell you this much. You want to laugh? I know I'm very close, but again, Saturdays I work. I still haven't been down to see him.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, if you got to work, you got to work. Yeah,
But again,
absolutely.
here's the dilemma. So people know what Guy wants to hunt. Why do they know? Because they're going to give him the book. Okay. If people want to know they want to know what I hunt, so they get there before I get there, so they could take it for themselves. How is this fair? How is this fair? I got people looking over my shoulder when I'm digging to see what I'm pulling out. Again, not so they could be like, "Oh, Matt Forge, here's your book." So they could be like,
telephoto lens out,
"Yeah, let me get in there before
paparazzi
Matt gets in that box." I'm starting to see
Matt
what's
looking for?
going on in this community. All right, I'm starting to see it. That's all I'm going to say.
You
I'm
start
just
seeing
happy-
that phone come over your shoulder,
I just happen to hunt the books that nobody wants. That's why.
That could be, could be. It's not always true. That's not always true.
They're
But
like
sometimes.
throne covers. Who wants throne covers?
right?
This guy.
This guy.
Murph.
All right, so we were talking about. I mean, you guys do have a tendency to hunt some runs and such. Well, I mean, you do, Matt, not so much a guy, but I'm going to throw this one out. So your approach to collecting, like if you're going after a run, you go keys first, last. You pick out like popular covers or the hot books before they become explosive. And besides Silver Surfer, like give an example of something you're currently hunting.
So I would say when it comes to a run, I don't really go in any specific order. I really don't. When I do runs, I like to find it in the wild. I don't really like to buy it off eBay or anything like that.
Yeah.
Unless it's a key that it's harder to find or something along those lines. So I don't think I really have an approach as far as an order. Just kind of like I'll take what I can get when I can get it. When that comes to a specific run. Now, if that run, like, let's say I started the Submariner run like this year, then yeah, I'm gonna probably grab the keys first because that's what everyone's gonna try to grab. Now, when I started it a year and a half ago, and not a lot of people were looking at for obviously besides number one. So, I would say I almost probably try to go in order, right? Like because that's just the way my brain works. But no, I don't. I I don't really have like an order. I never really thought about a question like that. I never really thought of like, what order do I grab this run in? I just kind of grab it as I see it.
Sure. I mean, I think traditionally we've all, kind of been that way, but I wonder if things change for people as, like last year, right? I mean, we all saw it, right? Everything went nuclear last year, right?
Yeah.
And we're starting to see, that dovetailing, those prices coming down, in a lot of cases. Some of them are still climbing. Dr. Doom, that hasn't, that hasn't tapered off one bit. But
Dr. Doom covers. I mean,
Dr. Doom covers, all of that stuff. Keeps going hot. But like going after a run, right? Like the question, like for example, I'm been collecting Amazing Spider-Man for a while, right? I get the filler because it's cheap, and I pick that stuff up as is whenever I can find it. Same thing with Batman. I'm doing the same thing with Batman. But when I come across the keys, I'll pick up the keys. But when you talk about Spider-Man, those keys are thousands. They're
not cheap. You're not going to see those in a back bin. Yeah.
No, not usually. Yeah. No, but I mean, even some of the stuff is, some of the non-keys, can be in the hundreds. Especially in the pre-100. So yeah, it just becomes a question of like do you, if you're going after a run now, like do you intentionally go after like that Silver Surfer run? Do you go after one through 4 first, and then the rest of them are all right, I'll get those as soon as I can get them,
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, and I think you put a really good point out there, is that since the middle of 2021 or even early, things have changed so much, right? And I think we've all had to. What up, man? I think we've all had. That's Biggie Shack. Yeah, Biggie Shack in the house. I think we've all had to adjust, and I had to take a step back and be like, what is going on with this market? And it made me change a lot. I changed a lot of thought process and a lot of ways that I buy and collect. And I, like I said, I definitely had to pump the brakes a little bit to see where things were going to go. I mean, I stopped buying on eBay. I stopped buying on auctions because the prices, I didn't believe that the market could stay as strong as it was. So I knew whatever you were buying at that time, it was, you were buying at a peak. And I don't care who you are, you're going to fall victim to it. Like don't get me wrong, I bought a few keys during the middle of 2021 thinking like, okay, like if I don't buy this now, like where's it going to be in 6 months, So I fell victim to it a few times, but I was able to kind of pump the brakes, kind of look around and say like, okay, what is actually happening? And then we saw by the end of 2021, it started slowing down. So now we're still seeing it coming down, but I think it's to that point where it's settled. So I feel comfortable again buying at the prices that we're seeing now, because I feel like it's at a good spot. So
except for those 4 monsters over your head there, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a different story. but that's, I think a lot of it is reading the market, right? And so maybe the order is determined, I'm thinking on the fly here. It's like maybe the order is determined by what the market's doing and what everybody else is looking for. On our show, we always like to say when everybody's looking left, we like to look right. And that's kind of the way I've been since I started collecting, even before I got into the community, even before I started to get into the YouTube stuff, is, try to be where everybody else isn't. The water's a little cleaner and there's a little bit more to go around. So I think it just shifts based on the market. And that's what kind of drives the order and what and how and when and how much am I willing to drop. I think that's what, there's a lot of variables that go into it. It's dynamic.
Oh, agreed. Yeah. I mean, shifting your priorities, it has to follow what's going on with the market. I can't tell you how many DC books I've been picking up in the last couple of years just because they've been cool for so long, and that's obviously directly connected to their ability to put out good product in the theaters. So until they can actually find a way to make that work the way that, find that equation that Marvel has, then I think that's going to continue to stay the same. I mean, that Batman movie was fantastic, right? I don't know if you guys saw it, but I mean, that was excellent, incredibly well done. But do I think it's going to inflate Batman prices? No, not in the long run, and not over a period of time, not longer than a short period of time, because Batman #1 is always hot. Batman's like Spider-Man. It's always going to be up, and the keys are always going to be up. So, like, and I think that's probably the only DC book that actually had been riding that current wave to begin with.
Yeah, that always just rides its own wave, I feel like. I mean, and
True.
it's funny because, you know, I don't know if this is going to be a question for later on, but like, what's the next priority for me? Is that something we're going to talk about later, or
we'll talk about it now? Well, let's get back to that, but let's give Guy an opportunity on this question. I don't know if he wants to weigh in or not.
Can you repeat the question, please? No.
It's below your face.
Yeah, I know. So, how do I approach collecting? Head first. That's pretty much how I do it. So, there's no rhyme or reason. I just jump in there. Maddie gave like a whole intricate answer. Can I curse on your channel?
Keep it light.
So no.
So no. Okay. So I usually just say screw it. I just jump in, and that's how I do it. Like, it's just, if I like it, I'm gonna get it. I do have obviously limits because I'm not a dumbass. Like, you know, I'm not just gonna spend money to spend money. But like, if I see something, I do a lot of different things too. Like I really don't buy on auctions a lot. I did at the beginning of me jumping into this because I was like, oh my God, look at these guys. They're cool. This is awesome. This is great. I've never been part of anything like this before. This is awesome. Wait, what's PayPal? I could do this. Maddie introduced me to PayPal and eBay in the same year. Terrible idea.
Yeah, like, right.
I've never done that before. My wife literally will not talk to Matt anymore. So it's terrible. But
Christmas is very quiet.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. But like, yeah, like even Whatnot now, like if I find something that pops up there that, like, not to use it as a pops up there, but like, yeah, I've bought a couple Funkos because I got them for like $15, or I got it for $10. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. Yeah. I'm not dumb where I'm just going to keep going and keep going. No, I watched this thing the other day and I'm like, this pop really sold for $550. I go, what are these people thinking? How is this even possible? Am I watching it? Yes, I'm watching it. Do you have one? Do you have one that's that much?
No, I'm just like what are we thinking when we buy these?
No, you know? But that's my point. I get it. I get it. But like, you know, to each, to use less of a phrase, so each his own. Like, you know, everybody has different things. Everybody has what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. I just have fun, and I know what's going on my boys when I'm done. So, like, you know, I buy stuff that's fun and what they're going to enjoy, and hopefully they'll enjoy it after I'm gone. So,
yeah, that's always the hope, right?
You know, guys leaving out an important part here. All right,
what important part?
He's leaving out an important part. Guy doesn't care what the book is or what the price tag is, because guess what? He's getting it for less than what the price tag says. And if he can do that, he's taking it home. Okay? So if it says 200, you know, he'll come over and be like, this is literally the conversation every time we go to a show. This guy has whatever up on the wall for 200. He'll say this like at the first hour of the show. Okay? And I'll be like, not bad. He'll tell me what it is. I'll be like, okay. I said, I think you should be able to get it for 175. That's what it's worth. He goes, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Comes back a little longer, you know, a little while through the show. Comes back, he goes, it's still there. I'm wearing them down. By the end of the show, he comes back with the book, shows me with a big smile on his face. Guess what I got it for? $175. $140. Like, literally every time we go out,
this guy's day was shit until I show
up. Not does he. Yeah, he comes in with a price that he wants it at, and usually you'd be happy if you got anywhere close to that price. Guy's not happy unless he goes less than the price that he wanted it for. All right, and this is what Guy does. So that's his approach that he's not telling you about. Okay, Guy's a salesman. Okay, to the fullest extent. All right, he will sell.
Like, why are you giving up my secrets, Matt?
To a woman in white gloves. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. And he'll also make you sell him what you don't want to sell him. All right, so That's right. I am giving out some of his secrets because he's playing it humble down there.
That's not. I am humble. I am humble. If I can get a good
That's
deal, I
great.
still get. I still. Who doesn't like a good deal?
I mean, obviously you do.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you this much, Matt. This is a funny story. We were at Yankee Stadium for a soccer game, and they are not allowed to.
Wait, you went to Yankee Stadium for a soccer
I'll explain. Game? Well, NYCFC, that's their home stadium. They play in a baseball stadium. So,
yeah.
Champions of MLS, by the way. So that's okay. Season tickets from the beginning. Me and Matt had season tickets. They're not allowed to
like closet Europeans, right? That's what it is.
Yes. So, they're not allowed to. We're not going to talk more about soccer today, by the way, because I'm not going to get into it.
No, we can't talk about that. I'll get very upset.
I'll get very upset right now. But they're not allowed to give you the tops to the bottles, right? Because they're afraid you're going to throw them on the field.
True story.
that laughs at me because he goes, just get four waters, whatever it is. He goes, they got to take the cap. So I'm talking to the girl that's giving us the bottles, whatever, and she walks over, and I get into a conversation. He goes, what are you doing? I go, just leave me alone, please. So he walks away, whatever. So I walk away, and I'm walking with the bottles. I get like 5 minutes later, and he goes, dude, there's caps on your bottles. He goes, I thought they're supposed to take them off. I go, yeah, I had a little talk with her. He goes, you got her to leave the caps on the bottles. He goes, that's part of that girl's job to take them off. I go, yeah, we had a little conversation. I told her
you had one job, just the one.
He goes, I don't understand how you get people to do things. I go, I don't know. I talk to them.
You literally can't find a bottle cap in Yankee Stadium to save your life, let alone 4. I've never seen one. I've been to Yankee Stadium about 100 times. I've never seen a bottle cap since probably like 2000. Okay. Guy Forge figured out how to get 4 on the same day. But whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is.
He just makes fun of me like because of it. So I'm like, all right, it is what it is.
So I want to go back to this. A Supreme Club grabbed an Avengers Annual 10 near mint for $77 on Whatnot. If that doesn't say go check that thing out, I don't know what does.
We'll see if it's still near mint when it gets to you. But I have high hopes for you. I have high hopes for you.
And Murph, showing his age, paid for a book with a money order in '99. Isn't that like the dawn of eBay right there?
Probably, yeah. Murph. He's got a sponsorship from Rolling Rock and Keystone Light.
Hey, don't knock Rolling Rock, man. I used to go to Blues Jams on Sundays and drink Rolling Rock. That was the stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
There you go.
Very good. Welcome, Empire Comics. Oh, all right. So you were talking about you were going to transition to another question.
Okay,
Matt.
What's going forward? Yeah, you kind of said it before, and my next collecting goal is got to be DC keys for the exact reason that you gave. I could pick up a DC key, and it's funny because people don't associate me with DC. I'm just like a heavy Marvel guy. But if I see Silver Age Batman books, which obviously everybody, I mean, a lot of people grab them, but even early Bronze, like I'm grabbing them. I don't even care.
Can I comment on that before you go on?
But that's where I'm going to next is DC keys, because I feel like they're so undervalued.
They are.
You said that nobody does what with you in DC? Associates besides this DC, right?
Right. Because you got class in your hand. Yeah,
class.
It's all class. Yeah.
Got it.
DC
so
keys,
DC
see, Empire
keys,
Comics
absolutely.
is like DC keys. What does that mean? Yeah, they do have keys.
You say you're drunk, Matt.
I'll be the first person to tell you DC's got more keys than Marvel does. They really do. But they're not as, I guess I would say popular, right? Because the characters. So here's the thing. So when you've got characters that have been around for coming up on 100 years, right? Because Superman was 38, right? We're in 2022, right? We're rounding up on Superman's 100th freaking birthday. When you have characters that have been around that long, right? And obviously finding first appearances, from back then is incredibly difficult, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't have as many back then as like right now, when like the market goes, oh, hey, let's adapt to this. People love keys. Let's create new characters constantly, right? Which I think is great. I don't necessarily think every character, is worth a crap, but and they don't have the longevity, and sometimes they're just there as story fodder, and they get whacked sometime later in the story. But
Virus.
they have a good character that's not quote unquote a punchline, right?
See what you did there.
Yeah, so it requires a lot of a lot of effort from the publisher. I mean, in DC in the '60s dropped a ton of keys, right? Brave and the Bold, Showcase, chock full of it, right? Like every couple of issues was another big name, right? Whether it's the Metal Men, the Suicide Squad, the Justice League, Rip Hunter, Adam Strange. A lot of these characters nobody cares about, right? But they are actually fantastic characters with great stories that at the time were incredibly well received. But they just didn't have the longevity, right? Because DC doesn't do anything with them, right? Like, Challengers of the Unknown had a big run in the 90s, with some great writing, but it kind of tapered off, right? It's just one of those things. If the publisher's not pumping the effort into it, right, you're not going to see the same kind of response. Whereas Marvel has always stayed with the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers, right? And like the Avengers characters and what they have. Just like DC's always been heavy on Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the main characters of the Justice League. Everything else kind of falls off.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you nailed it.
Yeah,
but I think that's why people that really that are like seriously into DC, like they just feel like they're misunderstood, right? Like, like no, trust me, guys, these are better books, these are better stories, and
they are.
Some
and this
people
is
are just like, DC,
This is a funny comment right here about Peacemaker, right? Well, Peacemaker wasn't a DC character; he was a Charlton character, right? From way back. Same as Blue Beetle, The Question, and Captain Atom. They all got rolled up in in one of the big DC buyouts. But yeah, if a nobody like Peacemaker can get made over into something better and relatively kind of epic, to be co-starring in a movie as a character nobody ever heard of, starring John Cena, who is clowning the shit out of that character, and then roll that into a TV show, that's gotten greenlit for another season. I mean, come on.
Well, they did it correctly. That's why they did
because
it correctly.
They didn't take it too seriously, and that was the main. I think that was
and
what
they didn't
sold it.
They didn't try to make it what it's not either.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. He's a jackass character. Make it like a jackass show, and they did, and people just jumped on it because they're like, you know what, this is good.
Well, yeah. I think there's a pattern, and I don't want to get too far off topic, but there's definitely a pattern when I think writers and creators of shows and movies, when they use a big name character, they try to do fan service for the comics, and they never like get it exact. So it's either like they're like always somewhere in the middle of like they do nods to the comics, but then they kind of go a different way in certain areas, and it pisses people off. And sometimes, I feel like more often than not, it doesn't come over as great, right? But when you get these characters or teams, and you'll see where I'm going with this, that not a lot of people care about, and they kind of feel like they have a blank slate and they can do whatever they want.
I know where you're going with it. You're going with it.
You get some of the best properties that have been put out, and I think a great example is Peacemaker, and probably the earliest and best example probably to date is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And a lot, and we did a little community like roundtable. Went around tagging other channels of what's your top 10 MCU movies, and I think everyone that did it, there was probably about 10 channels that did it, had the Guardians in the top 5. And a lot of people had it in their top 3, and like half of them had it as number 1.
That's awesome.
So, that's not a coincidence. It's because they're taking characters by name, and then they're just making great, characters, using physical attributes, names, and a little story. And then they just kind of put their own twist on it, and people adore it. Whereas when they're trying to do, I don't know, I can't think off the top of my head, but some of the characters they put out, they're like half-heartedly putting, like making it comic accurate, and the rest isn't. So now you're pissing off half the people one way and half the people the other way. It's like either go all in or none. You know what I mean? Like you can't be halfway in, halfway out. It's like either make it 100% accurate or just do what you want with it and just have the character the name. So
it was a perfect opportunity for that's what she said. But so I'm completely in agreement with you, and I think one of those defining moments is the fact that those characters don't have baggage, right? Nobody cares about who Peacemaker is, right?
Nope.
Nobody bought the first appearance of Peacemaker because they were interested in the character and his origin. They bought it because he was popular on camera right now. But the fact of the matter is that like Peacemaker, Vigilante, these guys they're literally nothing characters, right? They're very two-dimensional characters, and it gives them a lot of license to do whatever they want with. The same thing can be said for the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. But the beautiful thing about that is that even though they could do whatever they wanted to, in terms of like their backstory or whatnot, and how they kind of put everything in there, they didn't have a big audience to disappoint. Right? Because these are not, this isn't Iron Man, right? This isn't, 800 issues, but I will say this, if you've read the stories on any of these characters, they were incredibly true to the actual characters themselves, right? Star-Lord, I think was the biggest, the biggest shining example of that. Because if you read the original Marvel preview magazines, he was a space pimp. Right, that's all he was. He was running out there shooting up whoever the hell he felt like, and he's always got a girl, and he's always telling stories about a girl. Like, I totally forgot you were here, because that was just, he was a big time player in space, and I thought it was fantastic the way that they rolled that out, and it made the comedy work, and it made everything else work.
Yep.
And then not taking the whole Thanos piece too seriously with Gamora. It's like there was some seriousness to it, but then it didn't stay serious, right? It didn't keep that tone, like, it had to have this overwhelming thing. Yeah, and Chris Pratt was a perfect casting for Star-Lord.
Amazing.
Yep. Absolutely. So we're back on what are your new collecting goals going forward. So Matt's going after DC keys. Guy, what are you looking at? Just hot covers? Not trying to downplay.
No, it's fine.
You're still doing the Thrones. I mean, you got
I'm
so
still
many
doing
more.
Thrones. Yeah, I'm still doing Thrones, but I think I have some goals that I have hidden in here. That I don't know if I want to release them. Maybe
I'll tell you what I want to see.
Books, maybe some bigger books.
I'll tell you what I want to see on the Defects channel. I want to see Guy's Throne collection. Right, like I want to see like 2022 snapshot of Guy's Throne collection. I want to see what you got.
So maybe I'll put them up. Yeah, maybe I'll do a little video for you.
Do a little video, throw it up.
He's got some nice. He's got a nice collection of like. He has like all the Alex Ross timeless covers, right? Like he's got those on his wall.
I just got the Punisher one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I bought the Punisher. I bought 3 of them just because I bought one for Matt and one for Jay, because I know they weren't going to go out and just go get that, but I knew they loved the Punisher, so I just picked up 3 of them and I ordered them all together. So
I have two full sets, right? And the only ones I've had a problem with is that when I got them, the Scarlet Witch ones weren't primo, right? But I know a place I can go get them, and he's got plenty of them. And then when the Punisher one came in, because number 1, it was Punisher number 1, and obviously that was an iconic one. Those things flew out. I got 1 copy of it, but it's a nice choice copy. So I still gotta fix that for my little collection there.
Yeah. What do I have, Matt? What were you saying?
I was gonna say how many Scotty Young covers you have? I feel like you have like 150 Scotty Young variants at this point.
I have a long box filled up, and then I have on my floor I know it sounds funny, but like 3 piles. I don't know.
Oh, so you have like
you have close to
300? No,
Scotty Young.
Oh yeah. Well,
Scotty,
there's a lot of Scotty Young.
He was on that kick for a while, like trying, and he found some really rare ones too. So like that's
some cool ones.
He was doing that for a while.
And I'll tell you this much: the crazy part is, I know, and people, and again, that's just this community. People looking out for stuff when they see stuff, they let me know too. But street side, it was the funniest thing because I never again didn't get a chance to go down there because these guys always went down when I'm working, and it's like, I get it, I understand that's their time to go. They're working during the week too. I really can't go when they can go, and they can't go when I can go.
Yeah.
So Mac goes to me. He goes, "Yo," he goes, "Street Side sent you a box of something." I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "He put these to the side. He has like a whole box of something he sent you." And I literally opened up this box, and it was like, I don't know, like 30 Scotty Youngs, and I'm like,
Wow.
I go, "This guy's crazy." I go,
It's okay.
"This
He's
is
got
awesome."
your credit card number too. So
I know.
Yeah,
He just swipes
swipe.
it. He swipes it.
Swipes
That's
it.
all. But it's like, like again, and there were a couple of them in there that like are home runs. Like they're great books. But I've been on like and I don't know if this is not a kick for me. This is just the way I think, and Maddie will vouch for this too. I'm huge into nostalgia. Like I love all the stuff that I grew up as a kid, and I go crazy because now my kids are into the same thing, which is just humbling to me because Transformers I love to death, like Thundercats, GI Joe. One of my favorite, Voltron. We got big Voltron news today too.
Yeah.
What?
Man.
Okay, so I want to hear about this, but I just want to throw this in there. I literally over the weekend bought issues 2 and 3 of Voltron because I didn't. I had the one like for forever, and I'm about to pick up a 9.6, but I just found the 2 and 3 at Chicago Comics over the weekend. I was like, oh yes, and they're like $3, so it was perfect. So now I can read it, so I've got that set. But I'm just like you, guy. Like I went out and I was effectively going after all the books from my childhood, and like now I've gotten to the point where because we're all relatively the same age. Now it's like I'm going after like the Flintstones, the Jetsons,
That's awesome.
like Scooby Doo, like the shit it was like out when we were kids, but it was like came out when our parents were kids.
It's it is. It's again, I'm like there was a show, and these I'm trying to find. I've been trying to find, but I'm crazy. Like I want like a perfect copy. Like that's me. That's I don't know if that's the stupidity in me or that's just like me being very like I want what I want. But like, you remember this show Mask?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
that was one of my favorites.
That was one of my favorite cartoons ever. Far beyond its time. Let me tell you.
Oh, totally.
With the car, I had the car that with the doors that opened up.
Yeah,
and they were
the gold wing doors. Yeah.
Oh my dude! But I cannot find those books like pristine. And then I found them, and I waited on it too. And idiot me, I lost the chance of getting it. But I know it's funny. I think I don't know who did Jay find one when we were in the. I think Jay found it when we were in Maddie, one of the yard sale, not the yard sale, but you know what I'm talking about, like the place where
Connecticut or something like that. Yeah,
the hidden Jay's hidden place.
Yeah,
Jay's hidden place.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't spoil it for Jay.
No, I won't. But yeah,
no, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. You wrote it in the thing. That's literally one of my favorite. Not Jim Carrey mask. No.
Yeah.
The mask of the show. I forget what it stands for. Something
like mobile armored something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Strike.
Something like that.
Yeah. Command with a K.
Yeah, Strike Command with a K. Exactly. Yeah, that's what it was. I think. Yeah. They just made it.
No, I didn't watch that show at all.
It was such a great show. Such
funny
a great
story.
Show,
like right after we all turned 21, I think we were sitting around my apartment one time, just getting hammered and watching cartoons, right? And we had gotten Mask, and we had gotten Jason the Wheeled Warriors, and just some other just shit cartoons from our youth, and we were just like popping them in and just throwing back drinks. It was fun. But it was just like living that nostalgia youth that we had. It was just like, these were great cartoons. I mean, I had a paper route before I left California. So I was like 20, right? I was throwing papers for the San Francisco Chronicle, right? Like driving around, like neighborhoods in the middle of the night. And then I'd stop at the end. I'd stop off at one of the gas stations that I dropped off, papers for the rack. And my buddy was getting off work, and we'd go back to his place and like split a Foster's right at the end of our shift, and just watch cartoons at like 8 o'clock in the morning. This is ridiculous shit, but yeah, good stuff.
Awesome.
So very cool. Yeah. So how many of those have you gotten so far? Not just the mass, but like your childhood cartoon books.
Oh, a bunch. I have a bunch of He-Man. I think I have a He-Man out right now at CGC. Right.
Nice.
Mhm.
I think-
Yeah.
I think there's one-
Which one? The Masters of the Universe DC, Marvel, or the DC Presents 47?
I think it's the
no,
Marvel.
not
number
that one. I think I have the first Marvel one, number one, the Marvel.
You know,
one.
it's funny. It's like you got the first He-Man Skeletor in DC Comics Presents 47, and then there was
Superman.
Yeah, and then there's
Yeah,
a DC series, and all that was before the Marvel one, but the Marvel one's the one that's money now,
Yeah.
right? It's like, no
Yeah,
love
it's
for
Marvel.
DC. Yeah, ooh, it's Marvel.
There's the one Marvel 8, which is the one with He-Man on the cover like this. I was looking for that this week,
Marvel
last
Age?
weekend too. Marvel Age.
Marvel Age, yeah.
I put the
32 or
cover up
something
on
like
our cover chasing one. Like I love that cover,
Nice.
and I just don't have it yet. But that's the nostalgia stuff is what I like going after. Like, and I have some stuff which is great. The Voltron, I do have in a 9.8, which I'm happy to say. I have a couple of them. So I'm happy I have those. But like that stuff, I'm never gonna get rid of. Matt will yell at me
Absolutely.
till like till the cows come home because I just keep holding on to shit
Why do you need more than one copy of that book?
in case you want to read it more than once.
There you
So
go.
This is another one that I'm trying to fill out.
Oh, that's
the,
cool.
Oh, nice.
The Robotex, right? Trying
Mhm.
to get the rest of that series because it just tracks the stuff from the TV shows. And I got these packs from Best Buy years ago that used to come with like little mechs in them, but it's like it was a collection of like each of the 3 series. It's cool stuff.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Very cool. All right, so let's get back to some more questions for our guests. All right, so here's one. Are you guys targeting any big books or grails this year? Now we talked about you picking up keys, Matt, but let's go with Gaia first on this one.
Mm.
You have anything?
No,
You got your sights on anything?
No.
Okay.
No, nothing as far as a grail that any of you would consider a grail. But
Well, no, I mean personal grails.
I'm trying to get for my son Anthony. I have the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man 1 from when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Matt will remind me which one I have. I have the silver cover in a 9.8, and it was one we actually sent it out. Erod did his magic with it. He really didn't have to do much to it because like I don't think I ever touched the book.
Yeah.
But like he did what he had to do to it, and we sent it out, and it came back a 9.8, which I'm very happy about.
Nice.
Childhood book.
Childhood book, which was really really cool.
Yeah, that's tough.
And you want to laugh because I think I opened up the gold one instead of the silver one. Silver one I never opened up. The gold one I opened up, and we didn't even send that one out because Erod said it wasn't going to come back a 9.8. So I was like, don't send it then, because my goal is to get all of them in a 9.8 for my son because I want to put it in his room.
Nice.
I want to put them on the wall, like to have all the different covers. I have the green cover and I have the silver cover so far. So
okay.
that would be
the platinum one is tough.
the
and
platinum
so
is big time. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen that once in the wild, and it was abused.
And it's funny, like I feel like I had a platinum from when I was a kid.
The cardstock cover.
I just don't know where it is. I don't know if I had it or not because I've been through my books about 100 times, and I don't know.
It happens.
So Guy went from like no goals to a lot of goals.
No, I don't know if it's a lot, but
See, you got to get the gears turning, and then all of a sudden, all the information starts getting spewed out.
yeah.
Just got to ask the
love
right
it.
questions.
That's it. That's what it is.
How about you, Matt? Like, what's what's some of your big goals for the year?
Well, I don't know if it's I wouldn't say it's for the year. I'll just say it's my next big book goals, because I don't know if it's going to be this year. I have a lot of life expenses right now, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at Silver Surfer 4. Yep.
Uh-huh.
I'm definitely looking at that. Oh, there you go.
I knew that.
one.
Yep. Definitely that. ASM 50, which I don't have yet. It just eluded me time and time again. I've
He's
had
doing
it
a
in
lot
my
of
hand so-
Matt. He's doing a lot of pointing right now.
He's doing a
just so
lot
you
of
know.
pointing. I
I don't know if
see
you're
it.
looking at. I don't know if you're looking at the
Sorry.
screen.
I see him. Trust me.
Pick
I know
pick
they're
another-
there because I didn't see the Silver Surfer 4, but I did see the 50.
Matt, pick another book behind him.
Those have been on the list for a little while. So now I have to wait because both of them went through the roof. Now they're starting to come down. So those are definitely the two next books on the hit list. And then I'm trying to think. I know I was just talking about this with somebody else the other day.
You didn't write this down?
I didn't write it down. I try not to because then I feel like, yeah, then it's real. Exactly. Then I'm like gonna end up going to buy it, and right now I shouldn't buy them. So I'm gonna
I know that feeling.
yeah. So I'm
girlfriend will see
waiting on that.
the note somewhere and be like, "What's this?" I didn't write that down.
Once there's evidence, right? Once there's physical evidence, it becomes a problem. Okay.
Write it with your non-dominant hand.
True, I could do that, or I could go Gone in 60 Seconds and do the black marker on the wall.
Yeah. Oh, I was watching that last night. Yeah, do the black light.
Yeah, there you go. Could do that. Get Eleanor, you know.
Yeah.
I would love a first Craven. It's so funny because I'm looking at the background here, and that kind of triggered in my mind. That's another book that I tried to buy like 100 times, and again, missed the boat because now we got Craven coming out. So that'll probably be like way down the road after the movie comes out.
You know, I can be honest with you. I mean, on that one, it's like I believe that there's some speculation hype on it right now. Sure, do I believe it's going to happen?
Oh, you don't even think the movie's not gonna happen? Really?
Yeah,
they're filming.
Yeah. I mean, they're
filming
now.
Are they?
Yeah,
they're filming. Yeah,
they're filming the movie.
It's funny that 2 weeks ago it was Aaron, what's his name, who was Quicksilver, is now going to be Craven, and then now they're filming. It's like, casting and go live are really fast these days.
They're
filming in London right now.
4 or 5 casting.
I know.
Members cast. I always say that wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are like the 2 big books right now that I'm going after. I'm trying to think. That's it right now. I mean, another big book the last big book that I bought was the Blue Marvel.
Blue Marvel.
Okay, that's a book that I overpaid for. I shouldn't say I overpaid for it.
I think
bought
the world's overpaying for that book right now.
I bought it at the wrong time. In 2018, 2019, I'm looking at this book and I'm looking at all the characteristics, and I'm like, okay, for what it is, single cover, no variants, no ratios, no second prints.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Census had at the time there was 39 eighths, and I'm like, print run was less than around 30,000 of number 1. Awesome character. I'm like, I got to buy this book. And 9/8 at the time were 350, 400. And for then, a modern 9/8 in 2008, you were like, yeah, that's $400 for a 9/8. It was okay. You know, and I just kept waiting and kept waiting. I bid on some raws that I was trying to get, to try to grind out a 9/8. And I just kept saying to myself, I got time. And then it just exploded. It just went 500, 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500. I was just watching it go up, and finally I just pulled the trigger. I'm like, I had it was just I had to get the book in my collection. I was like, I can't wait anymore. I was like, I'm probably buying it at the wrong time, but I'm just gonna buy it. So that was the last goal that I had that I fulfilled probably 4 months ago. So,
and I was seeing that book. I was seeing people pulling that book out of.
Sorry, Fantastic Four number 2. That's the other. That'll get me to complete my 1 through 10.
Oh wow,
run.
That's huge.
Yeah. So, I forgot about it. See, I'm remembering this shit.
So you got to write that shit down.
Yeah. No, because then I'm gonna go and buy it. I don't want to buy them right now. I'll write them down in July. That's when I'll write them down.
Oh, I hear you. I kept seeing videos of people pulling Adam out of dollar bins. Everybody for the last several years pulling them out of dollar bins, reselling them for a couple $100. And it was I'm like, I was still under the impression that I was going to be able to find this, in some back issues, right? But then to your point, like when you start looking at the numbers, right, in the print runs, it's like I think everybody's hit all of those bins and they're all gone now, and it's tough. But
I'm sure there's a
still
few
don't-
floating, but
I'm sure, but I still don't understand what garners the price tag on that book. I mean, he's barely been in anything. He's like the Marvel's Superman, but he never shows up, and it's like, what do you do with somebody with a power set like that? They have trouble, doing anything with Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, because she has too much power, right? Same thing with Sentry, and people keep talking about, oh, they've got to do movie, they got to put them in the movies. They don't have to, they can sit on a shelf forever. So like, I still don't understand the whole $2,000, $3,000 price tag associated with that book.
I don't care what the reason is. All I want to know is when mine comes back from CGC that everyone is still doing what they're doing. That's all I want to know. So I don't. We talked about that. I don't sell anything. I have that book coming back, and I have no attachment to that book whatsoever. So yes, that will pay for my bathroom. Let's just put it that way.
There you go.
Yeah, I think it's the scarcity. It's a really cool cover. The story's good, but I think it's the Miles effect. I think people were picking up diverse characters, minority characters, big time, and I think that's where everyone believes that Marvel's, really put. And it's clear that they are,
Sure,
So
yeah.
I think that's a character that just makes a ton of sense to show up. For all the rumors we've heard of the different teams that are coming in and the direction the MCU is going, I think if you throw that all in a blender, that's why the price is. I think it's not overpriced, to be honest with you. I honestly believe it's undervalued, because if you look at Miles, and yes, it's, you're mimicking Spider-Man, right? It's not Peter Parker Spider-Man, but it is a Spider-Man, and that's the most popular character. But see that the 1 in 25 sell for $30,000.
Wow.
Okay, and this book, there is I think it's more. I think it's like a third of the 9/8 on the census. So obviously not as popular, but a similar, background. And I think once people start to see, Marvel's version of Superman, an African-American character with an extremely rare, extremely low print run, I could honestly see 9/8 in that book if the character does show up, pushing $6,000 and $7,000, to be honest with you.
Crazy. And, it's one of those things that it really, it makes you rethink what it is that actually drives the market and drives the value of a specific book, right? And that's what makes it interesting to me, but like I never understood, necessarily what the appeal, there was to drive a price that high. Like Miles, to your point, Miles, yes, he's another Spider-Man. Well, he could be a Spider-Man. He could be something completely different. He has some of the powers of a Spider-Man. He's got something that's completely different, right?
Right.
Same as Spider-Woman, right? Spider-Woman, she's got, the Venom blast and stuff like that, and she can, relatively certain she can like climb on walls and stuff like that. So, there's, again, similarities in that she's never been as popular as Miles, right? So there's a lot more to Miles that's driven that. But I think all of the writing duties that have made Miles excellent is what's really kind of driven that character, whereas some of those other characters just really haven't had good writing or good vehicles to improve upon.
Sure.
So and it's I would like to see more happen with Adam Brashear in the MCU, not necessarily in the MCU, but just in Marvel comics in general.
Yeah,
because he's a solid character. I think that they completely underutilize that could have a much greater impact.
I see it. I think you're gonna see. They just did. It's funny because breaking news. So David Nakayama just had a hand in a Blue Marvel statue that just came out.
Nice.
Okay, and he's actually going to be on the show with us on Monday.
David Nakayama is? That's fantastic. I gotta check that out.
So when you start to see things like that, when you start to see an old character that hasn't been utilized start to come around, there's a statue, there's a toy, Now they're back in the comic series.
Yeah.
They're testing the waters for this character because you know he's on a wall somewhere in Kevin Feige's, one of Kevin Feige's blackboards, right? He's on a wall. It's just a matter of, okay,
when they're going to use
what's
him.
the correct, right? What's the correct time, and are fans going to enjoy this character? And it almost happens all the time, you know. I mean, you know, you saw the biggest example of that was WandaVision, where we saw the Darkhold and how she took possession of that, and that was a comic book that was supposed to come out, and obviously the pandemic delayed everything. They tried to wipe those images from the internet because it was like in previews, you know, and it was her holding the Darkhold on the cover of this book. It was one of the variants, and they had the Darkhold series coming out. They had to push it like over a year, like, and that was really long. I mean, some Marvel comics weren't really getting pushed a year, you know, because of the pandemic. They were kind of pushed a couple months here and there. They pushed it over a year specifically because of the timing of WandaVision. Because if they would have brought that out, it basically would have blew the whole series.
The whole ending, the whole ending to the show was the cover of this book.
Yeah, right.
It was,
and I found
on the cover like this. Matt found it like it was crazy.
And I was like, it was just like, okay, this is Darkhold, Chthon, Dark Chaos Magic. Like, that's obviously where WandaVision was going. People thought I was crazy, and then that's what happened. So it's clear that they're, you know, Feige's in charge of everything now. It's clear that they're trying to bridge the gap, and they're trying to make one feed off the other, and I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, we just got Captain Carter series. That literally was spawned from What If. Like, I think it's great that they're merging the two mediums. So when you start to see these characters come back in comics out of nowhere, or start to get toys and statues, I think it's for a reason. Doesn't always mean that they will appear, but I think it's like a test run. There you go. That's the one to have too. Yeah, that's definitely the one to have on that one.
And I hate overpaying for books. I paid the full $40 sticker price for that because I'm like, that book's got legs. All right, you know,
that was the cutoff when we talked about the book. I think that was the price that we said that we would pay for it, around $40 because it was. I think it's worth it, even though it's got a decently high print run, not as high as I thought it was going to be. I think it's still worth it. I mean,
it's a 1 in 25. You know,
right.
They're out there, but I still don't see that print run being higher than maybe 2,000 tops.
Oh, for the 1 in 20, right? I was just you know, it's hard to always gauge how many ratios there are, but just the overall print run, yeah. Well, I thought it was going to be a lot higher. I thought it was going to be closer to like 80,000 to 100, and it wasn't. So,
no, well, I mean, things rarely get that high anymore. I mean, it is popular as comics are today because of the movies and such. We still have gone nowhere near the numbers of the 90s. Right, like that stuff out there is still like in the hundreds of thousands, you know, above where we are. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Wait a minute, you mean my 5 long boxes full of Image comics is not worth anything?
Depends what they are.
So Matt, we were saying those big books this year, FF2, something from Guy's Image box, and
exactly. I'll just go shopping at Guy's house.
Right. I mean, who doesn't?
There you go.
It's going to be taking over Street Side Anthony's business.
Hey, you never know.
All right. So here's another good question. I think. Do you guys do any trading?
This is easy. No, never.
No, you've never done any trading?
Nope. I'll never do like a trade, like a slab for like, you know, a couple. I don't like doing that. It's someone always loses in that scenario. It's like whoever has the more desirable book always gets the better end of the deal. I've done not as much of a trade, almost like hey, you know, let's just, I'm going to send you a care package, you send me a care package. Like I've done that a few times.
Yeah, I've done AOKs. I've done AOKs to a bunch of people. You
know, where they'll send me some books, I'll send some books back, some doubles for doubles, stuff like that. Never like planned, like, all right, I'm going to give you, you know, my FF, you know, whatever. You know, I've never done anything like that, and I probably won't. So, I don't believe in it. Yeah.
Not at a show or anything either?
Nope. I've been asked a bunch of times, you know, this weekend we were set up, they're like, will you trade this? No, I don't. Somebody says the word trade, I'm just like, no, thank you. I don't know. It's just not for me.
I get, all right. I mean, it's not for everybody, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just, I try to throw that one in every now and again for people, that are, hustling. Like,
No, I hear it definitely has a place, right? I mean, a lot of people utilize it. So a good way to not change hands.
I did a road trip right before the pandemic. It was in February. Like literally right before the pandemic, and I took a box of stuff with me, and I hit a handful of comic shops, along the way. Went in there, checked things out, found some stuff, asked them like, "Hey, you interested in any trade?" They're like, "What do you got?" Because I'm pulling stale stuff out of their out of their bins or whatnot, and I'm swapping it out for something that that they might be able to move a little faster. Worked out, prices, if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, oh well, either I bought it or I didn't buy it. So
sure.
It happens.
So you trade. So have you done big trades?
Oh yeah. Actually, stay tuned on the channel because I'm putting together. I finally got the end of this whole like thing. There's a big like community trade that happened and like with like grails, right? And it was pretty massive. It was pretty cool. So like we did some video when we were working out the details and everything like that. So we'll have some footage in there from that, and then like what the end results are, and everybody came out happy.
That sounds
like
fun.
it.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But like the whole purpose of this trade finally wrapped up for me last week.
Nice.
And I'm staring at it right now, and it's.
I can't wait. Yeah, I gotta check.
I'll give you guys a sneak peek behind the scenes.
Yeah, I like that. I like getting the inside info.
Yeah, but you guys want to check this out because it'll be pretty interesting.
Cool.
So I think we're gonna end with this question, but we're gonna roll into another topic as part of it that we mentioned at the beginning of the show. So when you go to a show or a store, what is it you target first? Like, where does your eyes go?
Okay, so you want to know the equation,
the method,
the method, the whole. I don't know
if they can handle it.
I don't know if we can give that out. I mean,
let's get into Matt Forge's mind and see the process.
Nobody wants to go there.
No, that's a tough one. What do I do? So it's usually I usually go in with like 20 books in mind. Like if I'm going into a store, I have like 20 images in my head that I'm like, okay, this is where I'm gonna go. So and then you have to assess. Are you dealing with sloppy bins where it's just like no order, bullshit, or you have a very organized shop. When it's very organized, I try to go to where I think people aren't going to go, right? Because it's like when things are organized, it's easy for people to just go and find exactly the book that you're probably looking for. Mm-hmm. So I do that last. So I'll go where most people would end or lose steam before they get there, and I avoid the kind of the flashier titles and stuff like that, because chances are it's a fool's errand when it's in order, because most people have picked it. When it's out of order, that's a different story. So I think it depends where you are. If I'm in an organized shop, I go to wherever I think that people are going to try to end or run out of steam and before they get there, and I work my way back.
Starting with Z and working your way backwards.
Oh yeah, I mean with alphabetical stuff, right? I try to go to the mixed titles. Like maybe I'll go to the mixed titles or stuff like that. When it's sloppy, it's how much time do you have? Like if you're in a sloppy, if you're in a flea market and there's like 40 long boxes and they're all out of order, how much can you do? So it becomes kind of just like a visual thing. And luckily I have like a pretty good, like I almost have like a photographic memory. So it's easy for me to just kind of do one of these and just remember something like, yep, pull it. And then at the end, I'll kind of have a stack of things that like I think I know what they are, and then I'll kind of go back from there. So again, there's variables that depends how and who I'm with, right? Like if I'm with Guy, you know, I may give him like his own little side mission. Like, Guy, do me a favor, go check that. Like, when you're done with what you're doing, go do this. And if I'm with Jay, we kind of like we're usually, we have the same style. We're looking for the same stuff. So we'll kind of go our separate ways and split. We'll just be like, all right, you start there, I'll start on this end. We'll meet in the middle. We know, pull this, or this. He's like, specifically, if you see this, find this for me, and vice versa. So again, there's a lot of variable. It's like, it is a little complicated, but it just kind of becomes like second nature. Once you walk in, it's like, I put the blinders on and I kind of say I have an hour or I have 2 hours, and I try to prioritize based on how much time I have, and just try to find something that somebody left behind, pretty much.
The one that they missed over.
Yeah, I mean, right? Because nobody ever gets everything, right? So that's, you know, try to go where people, the water's less traveled there, you know, and then hopefully you get lucky. You know, maybe you get lucky in like the ASM section. We're like, really, this is still here? You know, it doesn't usually happen, but once in a while you get lucky.
Right. It's funny because I asked the Warriors the same question, and all of them unequivocally said, "To the wall."
Okay, yes, that's where I go last, because there's no secrets there, right?
That's true. That's true. It's very true. I can definitely see that. So, a Guy, I mean, you were chiming in on this as well. I mean, is that a similar format for you? Is that?
Yeah, I have no rhyme or reason. There's you know, I'm not. Maddie is the one who have to ask that question to me. I go into a place and I'm like, oh, they got toys here too. I was like, I'll be right back while you guys
distracted.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, squirrel, where?
Like ADHD kid in a nut factory.
That's me. That's me. I walk into a comic shop and I'm like, oh my god, look at all this cool stuff. Look at all these things. Look what's going on over here. Meanwhile, these guys are already going like this. And I'm like, fuckers. I was like, well, how are you looking already? He's like, I can't talk to you right now. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I kind of like, I'm like, okay, Guy's on his own for a couple hours now. And I'm like, you know, going in the back and I'm like, wow, they have wrestling toys. Oh my God, Jake the Snake. And I'm like, what's going on over here? Like, you know, that's what happens to me.
You know what's funny is this totally works out for you, because the rest of the guys are pulling stuff for you. Street Side's walking up and handing you books.
Exactly.
It's fine. I left the show the other day, okay? And Maddie can attest to this. I left King Khan with 2 10-inch pops, okay? One of Mandalorian and Grogu, and one of Ant-Man, okay? Like, because my boys, this is what they're gonna like, and this is what I bought them. And then these guys were doing like a charity thing, and they had like a small Funko of Ant-Man with a tiny little Ant-Man. I was like, I gotta get this too. So I was like, yeah, here's for charity. Sure, I want this. And that's like, until the end of the show, I didn't buy any comics. I didn't buy any comics. I bought toys. I was there. I was like, okay. And then I left with a book at the end. Maddie told the whole story earlier. So
yeah. But that's what's great, right? Isn't that what's great about it? Is that you have 2 people, and we talk comics every day, essentially, me and Guy. This is what we do, right? Yeah. But you have 2 completely different mindsets about when you walk into a shop, and there's nothing wrong with either one. You know, I'm business, and Guy's in there, like, you know, and I love it. Sometimes it's good. I love when I go with Guy, because it takes me out of kind of like my automatic just doing this. Mm-hmm. Because my blinders, I kind of like, I take a moment and I step back and I enjoy it a little bit when I'm with Guy, because he kind of forces me into that, because that's what he does. He's like, he's in there and he's just looking around, and it reminds him of his childhood, and he's what got me into this. And it brings me back to when he kind of started me in this, when we were, you know, I was 10 years old, you know. And so I think it's good to go with, while it's great to go with Jay and we're both on the same page, I love going with Guy too, because it's like, it puts me in a different mindset, and I start looking for different things, and I start grabbing stuff that maybe I wouldn't have grabbed when I was with Jay. So
that's perfect, because he goes, Guy, I grabbed this for you. And I'm like, thanks.
Yeah. See what happens?
It's all a plan. It's all a plan, man. See, it's all like, you know.
Bastard.
Yeah, it's definitely all because of Guy.
It is.
I gotta tell you, I keep waiting for Jay to pop up down here anytime as well, and sadly, it doesn't look like we're gonna get him tonight. But so I'm gonna throw this question up to this excellent chat. We got 13 people in the chat. Are you targeting any big books or grails this year? Feel free to throw them down there below, and I'll pop them up. But I want to hear about King Kong because I heard this was a fantastic show. So you guys lay it out. How was the show, and did you
show him the shirt? Show him the shirt, Matt.
King Kong. That's a great shirt.
Alex Garcia, the artist, man, he's amazing. Greg put on an awesome show. We've dubbed it For the Community by the Community because that's exactly what it is. It was so much fun to see everybody, to hang out. All the vendors are, people from the community. That's what it that's what it was. So it's cool to walk around and chat with everybody. All the friends that we've made through this crazy internet that we're on every day. But people got to sell stuff. People got to buy stuff. People got to, do what they do. So it was awesome. I didn't get to go last year. Again, I was working, but this year I made it a point that I had to take off that day and I had to get in there. So all 3 defects were there. We did a nice live show from there. We did some interviews, and then obviously we did a whole taped section that, Maddie's going to have fun editing whenever he gets around to it. So, but it was, it was a great time had by all, I think. And it's nice to see the people that are there are looking out for the people that are coming there. You know what I'm saying? It's not like people who are looking to take advantage of you, not like people looking to hit you over the head and get as much as they can get for whatever and then get out of there. No,
right.
These are people that you see every day. These are people that you're hanging out with, that you share screen time with. So you know what? They're taking care of everybody, and they're making out for themselves, which that's what they're there for. But at the same point, they're not going to hurt anybody. So.
No, that's fantastic. I've been doing little microcons starting last year, and one of the things that I enjoy about doing that, honestly, and we talked about this before, is the trading, right? It's like I go up there with a stack of books, and it's this value, and they come to my booth and they grab a stack of books, and it's it's a matching value, and it's like, hey, everybody's happy, it's really a good thing to to be able to do, is to be able to kind of pull those through. Because if I'm looking to sell it, I'm, whether it's money or not, if it's going to go to something that's at their booth, even better. And I wound up pulling a bunch of stuff out. I've got a whole video series on it. Where I'm working these shows and pulling out books and stuff from my collection and stuff I'm going to flip, and use to get grails or whatnot. I'm loving the lists that are coming through here.
I'm looking.
Yeah, some of these, they're great.
The next one that's on there. Okay, Ben Compton, be in touch with Guy Forge, because that NYX number 3. What it made me do when I saw that, I'm like, wait a minute. I know Guy has one at CGC. As we were just talking, I just quickly glanced over because I had it open on one of my other tabs, and I just noticed that they have just been graded. So we should be getting those back in the next 3 weeks, I would say.
Oh boy, yeah, so Ben Compton, get me on IG, brother, because it's coming back. It's coming back, baby.
That was the comic candidate.
The Comic Forge. I actually, so at the last show that I worked, which was in November, JP's Budget Collecting. I remember he had mentioned that he was looking for an NYX3, and I spotted one, and the guy had a high price tag on it, but he was willing to negotiate. I think we wound up getting it for $600, and it was 9.8 all day. And I told him, I said, if you don't get this, I am. And hands down, I'm going to hand this guy cash one way or another today. So either you get the benefit of it or I do, because
this one's graded already. So this one's coming back one way or another. So
I'm taking this book and I'm going to send it in, and it's going to be a 9.8, and if it came back at 9.8. So so he's super happy about it.
That's awesome.
This one, here's one that people don't know. Yeah, Kamiko. It's actually not Kamiko Presents. It's Kamiko Primer, issue number 2. It's the first bundle.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's that black and white cover.
Yeah. And it's it's.
I know that book. I know that because of Thorough. I remember Thorough had a few of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get a few of them. Yeah. Well, he's opening up a shop, so shout out to Thorough opening up up his own shop, man. Going from New York cop to Yeah,
It should be
go
the
from
Savage Land.
crazy. Yeah, we got you. Jaegernauts on the west coast of Canada, but hope to hang out with the guys at KingCon one day. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, man. There's
Come on
there's
down.
another one coming
Yep.
up in September.
Really?
There is, and it's. I can't say. I always end up spilling the beans, but there's gonna be good stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna be bigger and better. What's great about it is that the guy nailed it before. It's like the community is in full force. It feels like everyone knows each other. Everyone's there having a good time. The dealers aren't, it's like sometimes you go to these shows and the vendors are just like, they think they're like just above you, and you just don't get that there. He's really selective with the vendors. It's a great bunch of guys. Greg is amazing. His whole family's there, and they're all great. I don't know what a lot of YouTube personalities are there, so everyone kind of, it's like, I know you from the chat. Finally get to meet you. It's fantastic. I honestly, it's been my favorite show so far. I mean, Terrificon is in a casino, so it's hard to top that. But as far as just fun at the show, like this topped anything. So,
and I'll tell you this much: that he has only, it is getting bigger and bigger, and there's a list of people who want to get into this, and not everybody gets in. Let's talk about that. He's not just having any vendors there just to have them there. So, he has good people there. That's the point.
That's excellent.
Yeah, very man. You gotta get out to the Northeast and come hang with us. KingCon, let's go.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I would definitely want to be able to take that time at some point this year to go out to a show. I was planning on taking a road trip this coming week to see my son play baseball down in Gulf Shores, and I was gonna be able to catch and hang out with my boy Biggie at nice. Lexington Comic-Con. He's got his packing done. He's ready to rock. He's heading out there. But sadly, Biggie, unfortunately, man, I am not going to be able to make it this year. But we will definitely hook up at another show. I think right now we're all gearing up for C2E2. There's a bunch of community guys coming into town. I'm going to host a barbecue the day before the show. I've got a nice spread out here that's not too far from the train station that goes downtown. So.
Nice.
Just trying to get the gang together and have some good times and some fun.
That's cool.
But I want to thank you guys so much for coming on to the show. We all miss Jay, but we'll get him on. We'll get him on another time with some of the other guys. But fantastic talking to you guys. It really was a good time.
Thanks for having us, Jimmy. It's been a lot of fun. What can I say? Talking comics. What can we do any better than that? This has been a blast. Come hang out with us Monday night. We'll be back. Our live show, jam-packed, Nakayama, like we talked about.
That'll be fantastic.
That'll be fun. Yeah, man. I had a lot of fun doing this. Chat's been great, interacting all night. So appreciate you asking us to come on, man. Glad we were able to make it happen. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of reschedules, but we definitely made it out. So, but I do want to ask you. So, besides the Monday night show, is there anything else you guys got coming up on your channel you want to talk about?
Right now, we had to kind of shift to just live once a week. That's where our videos are right now, every Monday. Work schedules got really crazy for the three of us, and it was like we were just fighting an uphill battle, and we thought the best thing is to still be able to do content, but we love doing the live shows, so we were like, all right, now we get to go live every week, and we just kind of, all of our content just kind of gets pushed into the live show. So right now, there'll be a couple recorded videos released here and there, like I'm going to do KingCon. We may do a hunt if we go on one. We're going to be in Connecticut for 3 Men in the Basement's comic book swap on May, whatever that is, 14th, whatever that Saturday is. We'll be there. I think Very Gary's going to be doing the Moon Knight reviews. I'm sure we'll be on. I don't think I'm going to make it every week, but I think you'll see one of us every week. One of the Defects will be on there at least for all 6 weeks. But as far as our channel, just strictly Monday nights. We got some cool stuff planned. We have a lot of guests planned, so that's going to be pretty cool. Can't say exactly who yet because a lot of them are still working out some of the details, but some good names and some people, some fun guests that are going to be on. And that's it, man. We just interact with the community. That's what we want to do.
And we're bringing our segments during the live show too, so the guys don't get upset because you're not going to get cold keys, or you're not going to get cover chasing, or you're not going to get. No, we're going to be
This
every
Monday,
week. We're
cold
going to
keys.
this Monday. We're going to be doing cold keys during the show. So we're putting them in there on the Monday shows, on the live shows. So get excited, because we're just going to jam pack everything in there. A little bit of a longer show, but you're going to get everything. You're going to get new comic book day on Mondays during the show too. So, you know, we're trying to jam it in your face. So
Pause.
And segue. But no, again, thank you guys very much for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you haven't taken an opportunity yet and you're in the chat, please subscribe to the channel. We're going to have a lot more guests coming up, talking with a lot more members of the community, finding out what their secrets are when they hunt. Sadly, we didn't find out where Jay's secret hidey hole is, but maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get that next time. But again, thank you very much, and we'll catch you next time on What Do You Hunt?